Third video of the night. I'm making these in case I don't survive jail. Um, in case I go. I don't know that I'm going, but I am having this as a backup plan and for longevity for my sons. Um, because if they're watching this and I'm no longer alive, it's my fault for not being more discerning about the person I was dating than I should have been. Um, since the age of 3, all I ever wanted to be was a father. Um, and I thought that I had finally met the right person. She seemed to have a level head on her shoulders. She seemed to be conservative, um, but rational for the most part. 9 times out of 10, she was one of the most rational people I ever knew. She was a great listener, but then I have to admit that there was another side to her that would be switched on by messages she received over her cell phone from somebody. She says it's not gas, and I beg to differ. Um, this person would blatantly pick fights. She would deliberately say things to get me to blow my top, yell back, and then she could tell me to get out. She would talk down to me, belittle me, humiliate me in front of her sons, loud enough for them to hear. Now I realize, looking back on it, I didn't know why she did it at the time. I couldn't believe she would keep doing it because it was like two different people. I thought she was bipolar for the longest. I really and truly did. And she may be, I don't know. But she never hesitated to do this, perform this action of yelling at me and loud enough for her children to hear how derogatory she spoke to me. And I would leave and swear never to go back. And a few times I had no desire to go back. So her response was to recruit my mom or be extremely kind and sweet to me to get me talking again. Um, but there came a time where we had broken up, and Tim was around, and I was done. This woman never would have heard from me again, ever, and she knows that. But she went on vacation with Tim, and while on vacation, they decided to form a partnership based upon my settlements for my injuries sustained from nearly being killed by 18650 lithium ion batteries that blew up in my pocket, burning my entire left leg and genitals. I had 37% full thickness burns. That means 37% of my body had no skin. If you have 40% full thickness burns, it's considered lethal. You're not likely to live. When my attorney came, very few people ever visited me. Actually, only 2 people ever visited me in the ICU when I was burned, and one of them was my attorney. and they told him that it was touch and go. They didn't know if I was going to make it. I came as close to death as you can get and still be here. I had to relearn to walk. My body has chemically changed since then. I have swelling in my feet, legs, edema. I live with that. Um, I have other medical complications from it that I won't discuss on here, but these are permanent, life changing results of having been blown up. These people somehow think that they deserve my settlement. They're okay. They have stolen $240,000, and they're okay with having done so. But see, from that's where, and I believe that this person that I'm going to ultimately face in court on Thursday, I believe she knows it. I believe that that is the catalyst for why she's terrified of me. Because if anyone did that to her, she would want to absolutely destroy them. But money is not everything to me. Despite me showing off a Lamborghini, a house, and all that, money is not, it does not make my world go round. It does hers, though. It's that important to her that she would think that she might be in danger, I guess. But at the same time, I don't think she really believes even in that. I think that she has to have, in order to get more money, she has to have some sort of claim against me. And this is her only route. And she's bound and determined to not give me the chance to hand her money, but take that opportunity for herself because she doesn't trust me. And she made that decision last winter. Even if she didn't want to be with me, I would have still paid her money. What's funny is that I told her that I would give her at least $250,000. I know now that obviously she's partied her way through that, and so is Gasson. So it wasn't enough, and I know that they're looking for more, and they have no idea how much I'm actually going to be worth, and when that will transpire. But by the time it does transpire, there won't be another full moon. It's that soon. But they won't ever see a dime of it. The thing is that money's not everything in life. Now, to them it is. To them it's the only thing. Because of what all you can do with it. But to me, it's the single greatest dividing force. That it's not money being the root of all evil, it's the love of money being the root of all evil. And when you put money before a relationship, before a family, you lose your family, you lose the relationship, you lose everything. And I think this person is just now getting to the point where they understand that and they can see it. Because this person has alienated herself from her children. Her children want nothing more to do with her. She has utterly destroyed any hope of uniting her family ever again, unless somehow she can figure out how to put it all back together. She takes me to court on Thursday and has my bond revoked and sends me to jail, and I die in jail. She will never have her family back ever again. For the rest of her life, she'll be alone. No matter where she goes, no matter what she does. Because people will remember me. And they'll know what she did. They'll know what she gave into. How greedy she was. It'll be like that scene with, I've said this before, it'd be like that scene with Judas after betraying Jesus in the Passion of the Christ. She won't be able to go anywhere where people won't see her for what she is. She won't be able to show her face in public. She won't be able to move anywhere and make friends anywhere with anybody because people will want to know, where'd you come from and what brought you here? And she's a liar, so she'll be able to lie, but eventually people will find out. She will be known, and she can't run from this. She's hoping she can. She doesn't have the strength of character to approach me and stop all of this. This is a plan, I don't think, devised by her. I think it was devised by Tim. And she doesn't know how to get out of it without losing her house. But what she doesn't realize is that her house is no longer her house. She's given away her home. That decision's already been made. That was a choice that was already made, a decision that was already done. She didn't appreciate her home enough to be able to keep that too. So that is gone. That's lost. Everything that ever mattered in her life, she thinks she can still get back, but she cannot. She can't. Not without me. She never will. And if I'm dead, we can't even be friends so I can help her get it back. Think about it. I've done nobody wrong. People that I wronged in my life, there might be one or two people out there that claim that I have unpaid bills. But the unpaid bills don't amount to $10,000. And it's only because I've forgotten about them. If they pop up and say, hey, you owe me money, and I remember it, and I actually do, I pay it. No big deal. That's fine. I want to pay my bills. I haven't hurt anyone. I haven't stolen from anyone. I've never physically harmed anybody for any reason. Never had the desire to. Never once did I ever have any desire to. Tim came the closest with the whole, I'll put a wreath on your dead son's grave. That's what he said to me. He came the closest. But I still, even if he was in front of me, I would have just walked away. You're not worth it. You're just not worth it. She's not worth it. Nobody is. I'm not the type of person that likes to go to jail. I don't belong in jail. I'm, for the most part, a responsible member of society and a contributing member of society. These people run scam rings, and they're the ones putting me in jail. Anyone could cry and say, well, where's the justice in all this? The justice is, if not that I'm going to be exonerated, is that if I die, there will be no place for these people to hide. They will literally feel the crunch. And what are they going to do? Point to me and say, oh, he's threatening me. I'm not threatening you. This is truth. If you don't like it, you can't hear it. You don't want to hear it. This is what happens when two people live a lie. They can hurt an innocent man. They can try to destroy an innocent man. You can destroy me, but you'll never defeat me. I will always win because I am on the side of the righteous. I am on the side of what is good in life. I leave behind a legacy of goodness for my sons, despite whatever anyone says to the contrary. I couldn't be around my sons. They were leveraged out of my life. But I've at least been a good person. This woman and Tim Gasson cannot say the same. They've been terrible people. They've done horrible things. I wasn't always elevated. I wasn't always awake. Back in the day, when I was young, I did hurt people emotionally. I've made peace with that and with them. And I've gone back and been accountable and taken responsibility for my actions, owning it to a T. In horrific detail, owning my mistakes. I spoke with my ex-wife at length very recently. We now speak almost daily. I've made amends with my past. I've gotten my affairs in order. I am prepared to die. I don't want to. But I'm okay with it. And if I'm found and no longer alive, there's not anything I leave behind that's undone. My sons are something that will always be undone. But they have these videos, and they know I love them very much. And they remember how much I love them. Women have done the absolute most to wreak havoc in my life. Whether it's a woman who thinks she's scorned or just a woman looking to make some profit. Women have done the most damage to my life in meeting them. And I would take the path, if I had to do it all over again, I would take the path of Joker and entrepreneur in cars. I would take their advice. Don't get involved with women until you have the money in place already and you're established. Then you can begin to deal with women. Because if you set out to do it before then, the type of woman it takes in order to stick with you while you rise and watch you go through the struggle of it, that woman doesn't exist anymore. Women aren't mature enough for that anymore. I haven't met a single one. Not one that could stick beside you while you rise and not think that they want something for themselves. All my life, I have always found myself unwilling competition for my partner. In other words, I never ever wanted to compete with my partner. It's not about competing with each other, it's about working together for a common goal. This protected order woman broke my heart time and time and time again as I witnessed her behaving as if I were competition. Do you hear what I said? As if I were competition. My partner. Why would I be competition? It made no sense until I realized and thought about it and knew that she didn't even have her own mind anymore during all that. She had Tim's mind because she betrayed everything about us, everything about me, everything about herself to Tim because she wanted his acceptance so bad because that's daddy. That's her father figure. That's who she actually looked up to as a father. Not her own real father. She really couldn't stand him. But her foster daddy, now that was daddy. And she wanted to please him oh so bad. This is by far and away the most depraved, twisted situation I could ever end up in. And I had no idea it was what I ended up in until about 60 days after the whole thing was over forever. It was shocking then. It's shocking now. And it's shocking that she can walk into a deposition and claim the guy doesn't exist when our neighbors are the ones that pointed him out. It wasn't me who discovered him. It was all of the neighbors. Not just the ones that live next door, but the ones across the street, the ones down the street, all of them. What it's going to take is likely putting this woman's children under subpoena to get them to say. But before that can happen, this man's going to have me killed in jail. So there will be no trial. Timothy Gasson has paid off judges. Timothy Gasson has the ability to pay off judges in the Duval county system. He has the ability to bribe the prosecution. And I believe he has bribed the prosecution to some degree. Either that or a judge has, and he's done it through an old judge and friend of the family. And I know who that judge is, and I'm turning him in tonight. He'll end up in jail. I've waited for the longest period of time I possibly can before I start reacting back. The tail of the fish, I believe it's a flounder, that lays on the bottom, on the floor of the ocean as if it were dead. And predators come up to it and nibble on it. And they keep nibbling, and still the fish lays there. They nibble more. The fish does not move. And they nibble more. Still no movement. And yet they eat till they get their fill. And the fish does not move. But right as they're almost full, that's when the fish attacks. That is called discipline. That's called patience. There's been a few times where I started to lose my patience and preemptively strike. Now, comes a time of real planning where I use my mind and the information I've gathered and dump it at the exact right moment with the exact right person. And every single thing comes apart. These people have tried murdering me 3 times this year. They know it. I know it. Nobody seems to want to do anything about it. That's fine. But they'll wish they had. They're about to wish they succeeded. For what happens next is the definition of justice. I'm going to write the procedure on how to face an enemy of this nature when this is over and how I did it. And for that, I'll have written a bestseller. And it'll be a guide to protecting yourself when you meet a couple who is predatory in nature, as these 2 people are. I believe this person who has this protective order is capable of change. I don't believe she wants to. Not yet. She's still not ready. But I believe she's capable. She's capable. And from what I've been able to ascertain, she will change. It might be way too late to even begin to speak to me ever again once she's done it. But she's capable. So I think it's good not to repeat her name anywhere so that she can have some kind of life to return to after she's changed. But for the most part, the people in her community and around the the Jacksonville area that know her knows what she's done. They're blatantly aware of who she is. This is a woman that pretended to be a Christian. This is a woman who went to church. But underneath it all, she's still a woman that was capable of involving herself in black magic, spell casting, witchcraft, Satanism, and the occult. And whether she wants to admit it publicly or not, whether she's ready for that, I don't think she'll ever be ready for that. But most people know. Whether they believe in that crap or not, which I don't, I never did. But she does. And she can't figure out why she's having such trouble manifesting anything at all now. She thinks I have something to do with that I have somehow cast spells or some bullshit like that. I don't cast spells, lady. I don't. I don't believe in that shit at all. I only believe in one power, a higher power. Things of the earthly realm do not concern me at all. So, if I die, that is the opening of Pandora's box. And you quite literally lose your life while being alive, because no one will ever speak to you again. Food for thought.